G'day trendsetters, welcome to Loudenvielle, round 2 of our Downhill World Cup series as part of the UCI Mountain Bike World Series. We're up here at the top of the course now. We're going to go down and give you a bit of a look-see at how this Loudenvielle track is developing as practice is underway. As you can see, the sun is out and conditions are bone dry, something we haven't seen in years past. We've got a slightly new upper section here, a couple of fresh double jumps, nice big triple out the gate. As we're quite exposed up here, we're up here in the afternoon now and you can feel the wind kind of ripping around this valley. So usually this wouldn't be that big of a deal, but now we've got these rollers and double jumps here. That wind has quite an effect. As we get down lower, speeds get up over 70 kilometers an hour, that wind can have quite an effect. And look at the location of this downhill track. Nestled in the Pyrenees of France, Loudenvielle, Peyragudes, presented by Facom, is an absolutely ideal location that does not get much more iconic and spectacular than this. So as you can see, out of the gate, bunch of jumps. Look at how dry the conditions are. Super loose, quite hard packed compared to years past. The dirt is packed in, and as we make our way down here, this is the result of those high speeds we've heard from riders before. As we make our way down, this upper section is intense from the very get-go. It is so high speed, that wind is a big factor, and here comes our first major change. So as we come into this first whoop section here, there was a big left-hand berm and a right-hand berm. They are now gone. So now you must set up here early, set your speed, brake early to prepare for these two corners. As we can see, practice is starting to develop a bit of a rut, a bit of a berm. We'll get down to that next one a little bit further, but at any moment, if one rider comes down this bit, as we got a bit of a break, we'll try and get a little closer here. As we come down this bit, if one rider just catches an edge, one of these sharp little edges, look at all that loose dirt there. There is no bank, there is no support, and there's no firmness behind that loose dirt. So if you do push that out, look at this exit here. There's nothing. This is all shale. And here we're about to change direction. The braking bumps have already been set up here. They're already starting to show. And this rut here, it may be about 6 inches right now, but once again, one little mistake here can blow this rut out. And this is where the next section of speed starts. So from here, we go down through the Redbull section under the Redbull arch, and you're gonna start to approach 70 something kilometers an hour by the time we hit that timing chip. So this rut here may be one of the most crucial and important lines on the entire track, and look how far it is on the edge here. Look how quickly it's starting to push out and get closer and closer to that edge. So riders are going to have to factor this in as they come through here. Will the inside develop? Is there an outside line here? Can they get up to this loose fresh dirt and cut back across to the inside and start to exit a little further down? So many things to consider on the first day of practice, and remember, there's another 2 days of riding before they have to race this come race time Sunday afternoon. This is the lower section we were talking about here. The speed that is generated down here starts at that upper corner. So as you come down into this straightaway, if you do bobble in those early couple of turns up there, this is where it can be detrimental to your speed. Look at this up the top there. We just watched Ronan Dunn wash out in that corner. So that's the mistake we're talking about. That rut now will be almost gone. So the next rider that comes down will not be prepared for that. So now that rut will develop again, but that now cost him all of this speed. He's obviously stopped now because it's practice, but that's how easily that one washout can happen. As you come down here, you can't pedal off this. And as you go off this drop, there's no pedaling down here. It's all tuck. You were above the gearing, above the chain rings and the speed that your bike can generate. So you have to execute those early couple of corners up here to nail this straightaway. Get down here, and as you can see, they're kind of like pre-jumping over this, lofting down and trying to get a backside to get a pump down this next straightaway here. First timing split here. So from that whole upper section into the timing split. And now we get down to the second super high speed bit section here. So that upper bit can be really wind affected, but those early details can be crucial to that first split. There may not be a great deal of time available if you have not made a mistake, but it is crucial to set you up for this entire next straightaway. So from the high speed, athletes have to navigate these little chicanes. These are put in on purpose to kind of slow this down a little bit, but there's a bizarre amount of time available in these. Oh, Davis. Man, you should feel the ground move here. Exiting quickly, not losing speed through the apex, navigating all of these rocks and these left to right to left to right. If you cut that speed and try and make a straight line through this, it may get you through here quicker, but you may lose speed as you come down onto this big next fadeaway section. That goes into a straightaway. So these tight little corners here, once again, this upper section is very basic in terms of a downhill track, but just insanely detailed to make sure you maintain the speed and stay on top of those hundredths, if not thousandths of a second as you navigate this section here before we get to the steeps. Big talking point, you come out of this corner here, these jumps have been lipped up a little. They're almost like stutter bumps now, where before used to be a bit of a rhythm, but now you come into this big sky jump, and this is supposed to be a jump to wash off speed. Now what some riders are doing are boosting this bad boy to a little lip down there. We'll get to closer. Now that's blind, it's turning and falling away down the hill, and it's about 14 or 15 meters to land on that bad boy down there. It's aggressive, but riders are trying to figure out if they scrub this, get to the pocket set up for the corner, or they do the big huck all the way around, land, pivot, get ready for the next bit. Well, as you can tell, this bit here is where it starts to get from the upper simple into the steep and deep. This essentially just goes flat along the top and straight down to the water there. There's Innes getting there, catching it. And that big jump at the top sets you up for this off camber. So now this off camber, you can get up high. There's a low line there. You can see developing an inside cutty line, or if you can hold this inside bank, riders are getting up into this high rut to carry nice exit speed. That's already getting a bit of a pocket in it. Lukey Meyer-Smith down the inside and just covers Innes in all of Loudenvielle's finest. Nothing like a talcum powder bath. But look at the speed that he lost on the exit. Lucky this is so steep. Oh my goodness. So that was Remy Thirion, obviously carrying a lot more speed in here. Almost missed that inside rut. The alternative is you get that left line, which may be set up by not jumping that upper jump. You can get up left, get into this pocket, and you can accelerate through that bit where the lads are apexing down there. So they're going inside, apexing late, washing off some speed. If you can get into this outside pocket, potentially you could carry some more speed into this next big corner here. So these 1, 2, 3 big corners are all successive, and again the speed starts up here. So from where Innes was, you can see this is the third of those really crucial corners, getting up high into yet another pocket. But look at the exit, it just falls away. So you're balancing the brakes and the grip coming down here, and this is pretty steep. Once again, hard to tell on the GoPro, but you are just literally going off the top and are going straight down now. Braking bumps, holes, sideways, drifting. There's a lot going on, and the exit is breaking away. So get out of that pocket, get into the exit. Whoa! And gets the pull at the bottom there. As we come down the track here, I've just spotted a trainer to the stars, Alan Milway. Hey, what are you doing up here? It's a bit of a hectic section here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and the track's changing quite a lot because it's so dry. So some of the outside lines that were shaping up nicely have now got blown out. You might have seen, you know, on different sections as well. So the riders are trying to sit inside those lines a little bit, and they're still trying to make a gap. So it's trying to piece together the best combination to carry the momentum.
And are you passing that information on directly to the team, or is this something you'll analyse tonight?
A bit of both. And here's Bodie now, that's perfect timing. Here we go.
So he went for the double on jump over. At the moment, are you saying jump over is better, or a bit of a pump double like Martin did?
No, I think the best is to jump over it. It's just if you come too far inside and you hit this corner too late, you don't really have the momentum, so you've got to pump.
So this is the exit. Denny gets the pull to double, but look how quickly it falls away again. So you're not only navigating that mega steep chute there into this blown out corner, but then committing to this double across, double over, or as we saw Martin kind of go into it, into the pocket. Look how quickly that can go wrong by just missing the apex of that corner up there. As we make our way down into the steep bits, the line choices start to become more and more apparent. So you come out after the second split there, got a low line, fin almost tuck in the front. We've got a low line into this big berm, we've got this big high line here. So after that second timing split, you can come off that triple jump underneath it, jump up to the rider's right, get a big high entrance into this and drop into this berm. Or you set up early, get down into the lower pocket there, maybe a little bit smoother. So definitely a lot more consistent, a lot more controllable. Exit well. Remy Meyer Smith, calm and casual. So this upper line here, the braking bumps are going to develop more and more, and this exit is what may be a little bit uncontrollable. The inside will stay somewhat consistent most of the time. You can get back up into this pocket, carry great speed around this massive turn here, whereas this outside, you come into it really quick. There's a lot of things you can't quite control in there. If you are committed and it does pay off, it may be quicker over here, but you are definitely risking it. So low line, high line. Brand new section here, brand new alternative. So in years past, this turn came over this jump here, went directly down into this berm over the bridge. Now they're sending riders out a little bit wider. We've got this big flat turn aimed at trying to slow the speeds down. Gives a slightly different entrance into this next berm over the bridge, but now they have to navigate yet another flat turn here. So again, very slippery. That rut may or may not be there. You have to be precise with your body language and your positioning. Make sure you maintain plenty of grip and carry some good exit speed through there. Emery, effortless, smooth and calculated. So we're over the bridge. Luca, what are you looking at down here? This is where it starts to get a bit steep and deep, huh?
Yeah, just
NPD.
a couple lines to look at, but just stopping and having a look, really.
How different is it to adapt to the dry Loudenvielle compared to the wet that we've had in years past?
Yeah, it's just like getting used to the speed, I think. And like the grip is pretty good, and I mean the track is ripping, but just coming into stuff way faster than what we're used to. So just having to kind of work with that, but it's good. I like it dry.
Petey, what are you doing up here? Bit of timing?
Just soaking up the rain,
Getting ready for it.
waiting for a cold beer at the bottom. It's getting a bit parched up here, all this dust getting on my throat.
Righto, save me one. So look up there, that's where Petey and Troy, where we just were. Look at the size of this drop down here. Laurie Greenland drops in. There's an inside line developing to a fadeaway there, or you can bank it down hard outside here. So steep and so committed. But from the steeps into this big off camber, high left to double jump over this gap, little lily pad, straight out again into the next split line. So again, these split lines just continue. There's a low, there's a high, big commitment across. There's a low, there's a high, there's a low, there's a high before we get back down into even steeper terrain. Oh, just like that. You watch some riders ride these lines and they look effortless, and just one slight mistake, one catch of the roots, and look how quickly it can go wrong. Maybe the steepest section of the course here. Riders absolutely sending it down this massive chute. Practically unwalkable, and there are no brakes commitment down there. Big braking bumps into that catch berm at the bottom before we get out into the open. So out of those berms, bank up high, it's rough, it's loose, there's shadows, there's light. So many considerations in the steepest part of our whole track. From the steeps, they just keep getting steeper, and another new addition to the track here. This was a little bit inside, quite a big rut. Now we've got a fresh outside right hand corner into a left one. So these little snakes are developing these ruts through the guts here into the open. So we're also out of the trees and back into the blaring sunshine. So in and out of the light here.
Hello.
Hey Benoit,
Hey.
what do you think?
It's dusty.
Dusty, huh?
Yeah. Dusty, steep, and good to ride.
What is going on here? What are you paying attention to?
About traction. Early braking, leave the brake in the corner to keep the grip, and yeah.
So far, is there a spot to rest on this track, or is it intensity from the very start to the very end?
Yeah, we have some connection where you can rest a bit, and at the top I think it's key to have some section to rest a bit, because the end is pretty steep and pretty tough.
Thanks, Benny.
Thanks.
We're just catching flow, Payette going down the Scott Downhill Factory skills coach, technical coach. What are you looking for up there to pass on to the team?
We're looking for all the options we can tell them, and also how the track change a lot. So they need to know before every run where it's pretty hard to ride.
Yep.
And then yeah, trying to find the best line for each rider, which is sometimes a bit different.
Is it different? Is like someone like Ethan compared to Benoit, compared to Dylan, looking for different lines and different approaches?
Oh yeah, for sure. They have different skills, so they have to take their own lines. So we help them with their skills to choose the best line for them.
Thanks, Flo.
Yeah, welcome.
As we come down all these jumps here, this section where we saw Finn Isles come undone a couple of years ago and Thibaut Deprella in this big steep fadeaway section. You can scrub this, but as you unweight coming off here, you have to be ready for the landing and generate all that speed, as well as manage that speed into that next corner. Big double up the top. So we heard Benoit mention you can kind of recover through the middle sections, but these corners here, look at the big holes developing on the outside there, making sure you do not get hung up on those braking bumps, making sure you jump this and are prepared with the speed coming in and the speed coming out of the next section. And man, I always enjoy running into Fabien Barel. You don't have a snack in your mouth today?
No, not today.
Different track. Poland, so wet last week. Now conditions are changing. It's so loose.
Yeah, and to be honest, everyone was expecting with the weather to have like super dry conditions and a certain amount of grip, but it's actually a lot more slippery than we expected. And you end up, even in terms of bike setup and line choices, sometimes to go back to like a low grip version of the line, which is surprising even with the weather, but we're still facing some of those issues.
How do you adapt the bike when the conditions are so fast yet so loose, which is somewhat similar to mud? So riders are talking about a mud tire, but the suspension is harder, the speeds are higher.
You need obviously the bike to maintain G outs. Like if you look, there is no much chattery impact. It's a lot about G outs and pressure, and I would say a lot of G out that are often lateral more than frontal. So that means that you need a bike that can take it, suspension wise, stiffness wise. But on the other hand, you can see the grip being low. That will require like
look at this.
Like soft spoke tensions and low tire pressure, a certain flex into the rear end to be able to, first of all, hold the 3.5 minute run that we're gonna have to do.
So less spoke tension, you think?
For sure. If you go too big, you lose the compliance. You will lose a bit of time at the top. But if you're actually dropping, keeping the spoke tension way too high, you take every lateral feedback from the bike within the bottom of the run,
and the grip is gone,
and the grip is gone, and you suffer, and that's where you lose lucidity, and you need to find the right compromise. So I don't want to give too many tricks to my opponents, but there is definitely a lot of things to anticipate, and we didn't expect that on track walk, and more the track is getting destroyed, and more we have to think about it to find, I would say, the ideal puzzle on a complete run.
Are you feeding that information back about some spoke tension here or there, or is that a feedback from the rider on how they feel?
Well, there is both aspects. You have the subjectivity of the athlete, and you have the team competencies to bring the information to the athlete. So I would say it's definitely a back-to-back information with an amount of brainstorming that is often different from each athlete. So that's where the communication with the mechanic and his rider, and the communication at the team level is something that we have to combo at best as the weekend goes on to optimize each of them for the best run.
Amazing, always a pleasure. Thanks,
always.
For the next timing split, as riders come back on here, yet another bus stop here to try and manage that speed as they come out of that bottom corner. They yeet off this lip here, pre-jump over into the lower section as we come past our next timing split. Loris Vergier over the final drop. So as you come through that split marker at the top, there's a couple of jumps to go. We'll come off this corner at the top here, has been slightly widened, so they come off there with a bit of extra speed. You're into that final right-hander now off this Redbull drop, and now that conditions are bone dry, the speed coming down into this final double jump is so much higher. In years past, riders have struggled to make this jump, whereas now they are flat out just trying to use it to wash off speed into the final turn. What a track. Well, as Emery comes across the line, that wraps up our behind the tapes here at Loudenvielle. It's time for an ice cream. What an absolute mega course here. The flat, the speed, the tech, and the steeps. I'm going to enjoy this ice cream, and we'll see you trackside.